start spinning fast, I pause and take my stand. Coffee in hand, I lace up truth with heaven's battle plan. No fear, no doubt, I suit up strong, his armor fits just right. I'm walking tall, I'm prayed up now, I'm ready for the fight. Wrap me in truth, no lies allowed, I'll walk this road with my head unbowed. No fake disguise, no twisted word, just gospel truth, pure and undisturbed. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory is mine, I won't retreat. Guard my heart, Lord, keep it clean, your righteousness my daily sheen. No shame, no guilt, no hidden stain, I wear your grace like a holy chain. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on the ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. Blue slates tight with peace I bring, good news echoes when I sing. I step with calm through storm and flame, each stride I take I lift your name. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. Mind renewed, no fear inside, salvation's crown, my holy God. Thoughts aligned with heaven's view, I see the world through what is true. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. Word in hand, I speak with fire, sharper than steel, it lifts me high. No weapon formed can take me down. I fight with faith, I wear the crown. Armor of God, my morning song, it is mine, I move along. Shield of faith and sword in hand, in his armor I firmly stand. Truth on my ways, peace on my feet, victory's mine, I won't retreat. So here I stand, the day begun, armored up till setting sun. With every breath I walk his way, in truth and love I face the day.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew from EMP Shield, and today I'm excited to show you our new technology, the world's first whole home EMP protection device. With over 37 models that can be used around the world, our family of EMP protection devices installs easily in minutes. Being employed this year by federal organizations and electrical companies, the EMP Shield has been tested at Keystone Compliance, a federally approved DoD testing facility. Also serving as one of the world's fastest whole home surge protection devices, working in less than 1 nanosecond, the EMP Shield will protect against electromagnetic pulses, coronal mass ejections, lightning, and all forms of power surges. Proven to withstand more than 40 EMP strikes with zero degradation, the EMP Shield is also one of the world's strongest surge protectors, capable of withstanding over 100,000 amps. So, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like our video and post any comments you have down below. We're sure you guys are going to have quite a few questions, so our engineers are going to be on standby to answer any questions you may have. Most importantly, be sure to share our video, as we're sure your friends are also going to be interested in our new technology. Help us get an EMP Shield into every house in America. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
But wait, there's more.
Hey everybody, before we get into today's video or live stream, I just wanted to tell you all about MyPatriotSupply. They have like so many products, it's crazy. I wouldn't be able to even do a whole video on it. But just to kind of give you a quick brief overview, I'll go ahead and play this short video clip and try to keep up with it as we go. So they have the emergency survival food. They have these special sales. They have a gift guide, and you can just all these different gift ideas down below. They have awesome solar generators. Every solar generator comes with a solar panel, so for outside charging. You've got most recommended survival gear, water purifiers, flashlights, candles, everything, heirloom seeds, 70 plus varieties, all the different brands that they have here. Let me pause this here so I can go through the list. They've got Aqua Pure water filtration, Aquameyer off-grid hydration, Beyond Outdoor Meals, Franklin's Finest Survival Coffee. It's awesome coffee, really good. Grid Doctor Power Solutions, Instafire Unstoppable Flame and Heat, MyMedic First Aid Kits. Again, we mentioned the heirloom seeds. These are the Patriot Seed heirloom seeds, the Ready Hour food, and the Ready Hour gear. Over to the right is my QR code. If you use that code or click the link in the description below, you can get discounts when you make your purchases. Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm going to try to be a little bit more calm today, but I doubt that's going to happen. Give it a minute and see if there's anybody out there. I was kind of timing how this is working. The YouTube, I think there's like around 11 or 12 seconds before you guys get what I say. And I think Rumble is a little bit longer. I might have to look at that and see if there's a way that I can shorten that up. I do want to, let's see here. I think I've got some stuff here that I want to show you all first. Trying to remember which one I have it on. Yeah. So give me a second. I'm going to switch over. I got to play this for you.
Hey everybody, this is Buzz Patterson. I'm a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired Air Force pilot, combat veteran, and at one time I was the military aide to President Bill Clinton and carried the nuclear football and actually lived in the White House. So I've been around. I was actually, during my military service, deployed to 70 countries and fought in 3 wars. So I feel like I've got a dog in this hunt. I am very appalled at what the Sedition 6 has done with their video. I think it's a violation of their oaths of office, and especially in the case of Senator Mark Kelly, I believe it's a violation of the UCMJ, and I hope that President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth hold them accountable. They are violating, and they are politically using their positions to undercut the command of President Donald J. Trump, and they're circumventing the chain of command. Congress and members of Senate are not in the chain of command. President Trump is, however, as our commander in chief. So I fully support going forward with whatever prosecutions are warranted and legitimate, and I think they are. On these individuals, they use their positions, military and in the intelligence community, to expose, I think, and put at risk those of us who serve in uniform. I think that what's going to happen is, because they violated the military chain of command, people are going to die. They undercut the underpinnings of the military, which is good order and faith and trust in their leadership. And in my estimation, what they did was treasonous and seditionist, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent. Again, my name is Buzz Patterson. I served in combat. I've served for 20 years, and I am outraged by what has happened by the Democrats, and I fear for what's going to happen to our young soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines if they choose to violate what is a legal order, which will ruin their lives and ruin their careers. Thank God, guys. God bless. See ya.
I just wanted to lead with that this morning. That's what I'm talking about. We're getting infiltrated from every direction. I was gonna name this infiltrated in every orifice, but I don't know if YouTube would have liked that too much. But anyway, yeah, we got some bad stuff going on. So I'm going to why is that like I'm gonna pop over here on the other screen here real quick. All right, so coming off of that there, the Department of War excuse me, entered an official statement. So the Department of War has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly, United States Navy, retired. In accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice 10 United States Code Statute 688 and other applicable regulations, a thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which may include recall to active duty for courts-martial proceedings or administrative measures. This matter will be handled in compliance with military laws, ensuring due process and impartiality. Further official comments will be limited to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. The Department of War reminds all individuals that military retirees remain subject to the UCMJ for applicable offenses and federal laws such as 18 United States Code Statute 2387, and it prohibits actions intended to interfere with the loyalty, morale, or good order and discipline of the armed forces. Any violations will be addressed through appropriate legal channels. All service members are reminded that they have a legal obligation under the UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful. A service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. So that takes care of 1 out of the 6. There's 5 left. Out of that 5, I believe 4 of them are former military, and 1 of them is former CIA. So the Department of War doesn't have any jurisdiction over them because they did not retire from the military. Okay? So what I think we're going to see happen there is going to be some pretty strong stuff that will be entered in through the Department of Justice, because we have to remember that they also swore an oath when they assumed the position of a congressperson or in the Senate. So they still fall under United States law. But then you're thinking, well, we aren't going to get a court that's going to do anything about it. Well, we will. There is the court in Virginia that will, and because it's in that jurisdiction, that court will hear the case. But I think before anything happens with that particular case on the final 5, they're going to make sure that they have all their I's dotted and their T's crossed. As we saw just a few days ago, Pam Bondi had assigned a temporary, I guess it would be like a temporary assistant, and the court said that she couldn't do it because she didn't have status to do the case. So again, I still think that even though we may have an issue with the courts, there's still the backup, because what we're waiting on, and this is going to be most important. I've mentioned this before. We are still in a continuity of government. We're sitting at like that 50 percentile. It may have even gone up a little bit, which means that the PEDS Act and all that is enacted. That's in force right now. And then we're basically like this far away from President Trump instituting the Insurrection Act. Now, I think before he does that, we have to start seeing some stuff start kicking off in some of the cities and some of these areas where, whether it be Antifa and the bad ones, the black bloc, the ones that don't have a problem with unaliving somebody, and we could see some more stuff from the cartels, and we could also start seeing some stuff from those that fall under like Muslim Brotherhood, and that's who they're being paid by. Okay, as we know, just the other day, President Trump, I think first it was the governor of Texas, recognized that the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, and basically they're forbidding them and CARE from having any type of properties. They can't purchase property, and I believe the properties that they do currently own are in the works of being taken. So President Trump followed closely behind, and he recognized also the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. He didn't go so far yet to recognize CARE, which that might be a little bit different, but still it's going to be in the same scope, because even though members of CARE are not out doing any kind of jihadi, on the streets shooting it up and burning stuff down and that kind of thing, they're funneling the money to the people that will be. Okay, so we've got the radical Islamist, we've got cartels, and we've also got, on the low end, the Antifa, which could put all that stuff into place. So, I'm just looking here. I am not seeing anything in chat yet. So, hey, if you're out there, just kind of give me a thumbs up or give me a wave or something. Just say hi. Also, go ahead and if you're just listening for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I don't have like the best broadcasts, but the one thing that you will get here is 100% truth, and everything that I put out is definitely backed up with receipts. So anyway, next item up for bid. Remove that. All right, so coming out from Homeland Security, they're doing a response to CBS Face the Nation, where Face the Nation made the comment that the number of detainees held by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has reached a record high of nearly 66,000, according to data released Friday by DHS, and 48% of current detainees lack criminal charges or convictions. It's funny that they want to use that 66 number. I mean, nothing's a coincidence. But Homeland Security answers back wrong. 70% of illegal aliens arrested have pending criminal charges or criminal convictions. Does CBS really want us to release accused murderers and rapists back on the street? And then they go on to say, but at Face the Nation is right about one thing: our deportation operations are at a record high. So that is a good thing. We need to see that keeping up. Now I'm gonna kind of read some stuff here, and I'm gonna add a little bit of my own information to this to back it up, but some of this is coming from Tone Man over on X. Before we arrived at the place that we are at today, before all the political BS, before this nation became so divided, filled with hatred, before all the corruption by both parties in DC, before politicians sold out their country for greed and power, before the cesspool filled with rot and filth became the swamp, before we all arrived here, we lived in a much different America. There was once this place, a very special place, a very magical place, a place where your freedoms were part of life and your privacy was respected. In this place we loved thy neighbor and always helped those in need. We never lived in fear. We went to work, we paid our bills, and enjoyed everything this place had to offer. We didn't worry about politics. We just worked hard and raised our families the right way, teaching them about love and respect, teaching them about love for God. It was a really great place, and it almost seems unimaginable, too good to be true, but it's not. It's very real. That place, the greatest place in the world, that place is the United States of America. If you were fortunate enough to grow up here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We respected those in charge. We respected law and order. We respected police officers, and we owe a debt that we can never repay to our brave men and women in our military. This was our America. This was the America we were fortunate enough to grow up in. Most would think there isn't a better place to be in the world. So why would anyone want to destroy this place? Well, that's because that's what evil does. It destroys all the good in the world, and it replaces it with hate and division. Evil doesn't believe in your happiness. Evil believes in misery. Evil believes in having the power to own you, enslave you, make you their personal property. Your freedoms? Gone. Your love, dead. Your faith in God, it's no longer allowed. Evil wants control. Evil wants to call all the shots. Evil took us down a path which met its crossroad. It was good trying to defeat the evil. It was good trying to hold on to our America, hoping and praying for help to arrive. Help did arrive, and help is here. You see, there was this man who also cherished the America that we know and saw it being ripped away from us. That man, he's a businessman. He decided to put his money where his mouth is, and he took on the challenge. He's fighting the evil. He literally put his life on the line for we the people, as well as our country. Trump didn't do it for the money. Hell, he has plenty of that. He did it for two reasons. For love of our country and for love of we the people. We owe him a debt that can never be repaid, and we will proudly stand with him until the very end. We are MAGA, the real MAGA. Not just some spoiled posers who all went running once the shit hit the fan. We are MAGA strong, and we not only appreciate all that Trump has done, but we will all stand behind him until the very end. The same way he gave up his lavish lifestyle for all of us. Without him, this country would be all but lost. Taken away forever. We don't forget. MAGA doesn't forget. Thank you, President Trump. And that's my 2 cents. So, there's some pretty strong words there. And I do want to comment a little bit more on some of that. Because I look at all these people out there on the left, the far left, the extreme left, that have what we know lovingly as TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Why can't they see what he's actually done for this country? But no, they're still living off of the old talking points from that they were I guess when they were throwing it out back in 2016, 2017 about him being a misogynist, and now they're saying they're trying to say, which they're going to be proven wrong very soon, that he's all in the Epstein files. I've been saying for a long time that if there's any mention of him in the Epstein files themselves, there's nothing bad. Maybe there's some other notes that are off to the side that show that maybe Epstein was kind of pissed off at Trump for kicking him out of Mar-a-Lago because Epstein got caught trying to groom and take young women that work for President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Trump wasn't playing with that. He doesn't believe in that, and he's not going to play that. And from early on, the whole grab the pussy thing. Even if that really was his voice that said that, it's not that bad. I mean, how many of you guys out there have said similar things in the locker room? How many? So, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not saying that that's a damning thing. Okay? That was a talk between two men that should have been private and was recorded and let out because somebody wanted to get Trump. Excuse the cough. I got a little bit of sinus stuff going on this morning. So, anyway, let's move on. I am going to come back around again, though. to the infiltration stuff. This is all leading into it, and this here is a post by Vice President J.D. Vance. He said, after 4 years of house prices doubling and in some areas tripling, many young people feel priced out of the American dream of home ownership. A welfare fraud scandal in Minnesota reveals that large numbers of new arrivals aren't assimilating and are funneling our tax dollars to literal terrorist groups. We talked about that yesterday. And close to the billions right now. An innocent woman was set on fire in Chicago as the mayor resists federal law enforcement resources to bring peace to one of our great cities. The Obamacare insurance system is buckling under its own weight, and the country is $38 trillion in debt. I believe from what they were saying, it's actually closer to $42 trillion, but they didn't want to say that yet because I think people would really freak out. So VP Vance goes on to say, our administration is working hard on addressing all of these problems. But you know what really fires up the Beltway GOP? Not any of the above. Instead, the political class is really angry that the Trump administration may finally bring a 4-year conflict in Eastern Europe to a close. He's talking about Ukraine. And let me just even go on even a little tad more. When he's talking about the Beltway, he's not even just talking about the people in Congress or the people in the Senate that are against him. They now have paid protesters along the pool and the big obelisk out in front of the Capitol and on the streets there and in front of the White House, holding the Ukrainian flag, and they're protesting on the agreement that was leaked with these 28 points. See, that's the thing, is President Trump knew that was going to get leaked by somebody, okay? And so all those 28 points were just, boom, they were thrown in there. Now, we got these people out there protesting on something that was like the very first rough, I guess you want to call it the rough draft. They had to get something going. But we had our best people in Geneva working with the best people from Ukraine to finally bring this whole thing to a close. I guess they agreed on some stuff. I guess Zelensky's okay with it. He's got a couple minor things that he wants to talk to President Trump about. And then this is going to be brought to Russia. And from what I've been reading on the Telegram channels, Russia has a few things that they want to brush up as well. So there's going to be some things that are going to drag this out for a little bit. But I think eventually this is going to come to a close. But after this comes to a close, or right around the time that it closes, I want you all to make sure that you're seated. Your seats are in the upright position. You got your seat belt on and your trays are up. Because after the peace agreement is done, is when some of the most damning information about what really was going on in Ukraine and why the war was going on is going to come out. And I guarantee you can go back and look at a lot of my old videos that I put out where I talked about Ukraine, and you're going to find out that pretty much everything that I mentioned in there is 100% true. Okay? Because I'm not going by what other people say, except for the people that I know and love that are actually on the ground in Ukraine right now and are letting me know what's going on. And it's not just my close people there. there's an extended group of people off of that, and that also includes a couple of Russians. So there's Russians and Ukrainians that are telling me the exact same thing. Okay, so let me just finish up here what VP Vance was saying here. He says, I'm not even talking about the substance of their views. Much of what these people have said about the Ukraine war has been proven wrong, but whatever, we can agree to disagree. And he's not talking about what I just mentioned. Okay? He's talking about the things that have been hidden and not very many people know about unless you're paying very close attention and listening to what some of the people like in Congress and during congressional hearings are saying. You pay attention and then you ask those questions to the people on the ground and then you get confirmation. He said, then he goes on to say, but the level of passion over this one issue when your own country has serious problems is bonkers. It disgusts me. Show some passion for your own country. And this is where it's going to bring us back around full circle about how we have been infiltrated from pretty much every which way. Okay? So there was some other stuff that I had here with other people that were breaking information. I'm not going to go through all of that. I am going to mention just quickly that thank God President Trump is now planning to stop all monetary support to Nigeria. They are getting nothing anymore. Nothing. And it looks like we may have some military intervention there to help these 52 plus Christian villages that have been going through pure terror and have been religiously cleansed. Okay, genocide. All right, so that's a good thing that's happening, but as we know, President Trump can still take care of stuff like that and focus most of his energy on things that we need to have done here in America. And when we've got the infiltration that was allowed during the last 4 years and 8 years before that, actually the whole 8 years that Obama was in, certain people were coming in. People that were affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood were coming in back then. Go back and look and see when Dearborn, Michigan started growing. If you can look at the population, go look at the rise of how quickly the Muslims started moving in there and taking over. And then you can also go look at, like Texas, for example. Texas has Austin, Houston, Plano, Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, 5 of the largest cities in Texas are also being taken over. And just the other day in Austin, the Muslim Brotherhood groups were out there already rioting and defacing a lot of stuff and, carrying on in Austin. Nothing was said about it in the mainstream media, but we're finding out from it from boots on the ground people. I think maybe Fox News might have had a little mention about it, but it's getting absolutely zero coverage in the news. Okay, so now we see that during Obama's 8 years, we had a huge influx of Muslim Brotherhood, and I beg to say, I'm going to say too that we had, because ISIS was Obama's baby, okay? His and McCain, no name, that was their baby. Al-Qaeda was also partially his, but I think he had more of a hand in ISIS. But they're all pretty much the same. The only thing is that we all know who created ISIS, and that was that little tiny state that's making the big stink over in the Middle East right now. That's getting all the attention. Okay, the ones that Hamas and Hezbollah are attacking supposedly all the time. Okay, so we have that infiltration. We have the cartels. Yeah, they closed off the southern border, but do you think that stopped the influx of the people that work for the cartels coming in? We already had quite a few here, and I'm going to also go out on a limb and say in Chicago, Los Angeles, some of these other bigger cities, I think New York is coming next, but in these bigger cities, the people that are being rounded up, even though they supposedly haven't committed a crime, it's where they came from and who they're involved with. We have this thing called intel, and we have a way of identifying people, who they are, where they're from, who they're involved with. And I think most of these people that are being rounded up are the worst of the worst. These are the cartels and the gang members. Trendiagua, Zetas, MS-13, all them. So the Muslim Brotherhood groups, the cartel groups, and then we also have our far left-wing MK Ultra Antifa people. Okay. So we have these three major infiltrations happening and have already been going on already here in the United States. The southern border's closed, but there's still more people coming in from the northern border. We don't have a wall between us and Canada. And I want to say, I put a video out probably about a month and a half ago now. It's here on YouTube, it's on Rumble, and it also is over on BitChute if you follow me on any of those places. It talks about everything that's going on in Canada. Basically the port, that main port in Vancouver, British Columbia, it's actually being run by more like mostly cartel members. Those that aren't cartel members are getting paid off big to keep their mouths shut. But what's happening is any of these shipments that are coming in, what we found out, and this is through boots on the ground investigations, I'm trying to remember her name. Sean Ryan had her on a few months back, and I delved deep into that, and then I commented off of that particular segment of Sean Ryan, and talked about the things that she was finding and what's happening. But right now, about 90 to 95% of the fentanyl that's coming into the United States is coming in over the Canadian border. And that's because only 1% of things coming into the port there in Vancouver are being checked by like their customs officials. Because like I already mentioned to you, most of them that work there are either run by the cartel or they are cartel members, and the others are paid off to keep their mouths shut, and they probably have threatened them and their families. So going deeper into that, Canada has doesn't have the appropriate amount of people in their civilian law enforcement, in the RCMP mainly, to deal with the influx of the fentanyl that's coming in, or at least the ingredients that they need to make the fentanyl. Because what was popping up all over Canada, out in these very rural areas, some properties were being I don't know if many of them were bought, but a lot of them were being leased or rented, and they set up shop there to actually produce the fentanyl right there on that location. Okay, so that's what's happening. And there are so many of them. I think she mentioned that there were like over 900, and I think 960 is the number that's sticking in my head. And one of the RCMP people that she talked to that's up on the higher up, they said we just don't have the amount of people that we need to be able to go check out all these and do a raid. But I haven't seen anything in news coming from Canada that they've raided any of these drug labs for fentanyl in Canada. Mostly what I saw coming out of Canada, which is another travesty, but I think the whole drug problem is even worse because it takes human lives and not ostrich lives. But the Canadian government culled over 400 ostriches from an ostrich farm that had nothing wrong with them, but the government wanted to try to say that they had some kind of a bird flu or something that they were afraid they were going to spread. Just more propaganda BS. So I listen to every day. He's got videos out. He puts them out every day. He's got 2 channels on YouTube. It's one of them is How to Hunt, and the other one is Knowledge from the Round Table, or Knowledge at the Round Table, or something to that effect. He talks about a lot of the woo-woo stuff that I also talk about, like Sasquatch, Sabe, that kind of thing, Dogman. But he also talks about how Canadians now are calling Canada Canadistan. That it's basically turning over to completely Marxist, communist, socialist. They pretty much got the whole thing, and it's starting from the east and working its way west. They're talking about taking their guns. One of the brand new young guys on the parliament is saying that anybody in Canada that owns a gun is a criminal. So this is the kind of stuff that they're putting out there, and I do know, not just from Steve, but from other people in Canada, they're not going to let their government take their guns. It's going to be like the pry them from their cold dead fingers scenery that we've always talked about in the past, and what would happen here in the United States as well. And then we've also got most of those provinces from central to western Canada. I think there's like 4 or 5 provinces. I'd have to look at the map again, that want to become part of the United States. I think pretty soon all of Canada is just going to be it's going to be part of the United States. We're going to fall under like a whole North America, or what we call American region. It'll be all of North America will be the United States, Canada, Mexico, and then we'll have South America, which will be part of that, which is South America. All of South America will also be included in that. Yes, including Venezuela and Brazil, and it will also cover all of the Virgin Islands and everything over in that whole, like the St. Kitts and Little and Big St. John's. It'll be the whole Caribbean, Jamaica, Haiti, all that. That's all going to fall under the United States. I've heard from a couple of different people on that. But anyway, back on the infiltration and what's coming across our border. So it's not just the drugs that are coming across. Every time there's shipments coming across, not all of these drug lab people, cartel members that are coming across are going back. They send more and more each time they come, and then you might have 1 or 2 go back, and you've got like 5 or 6 more that are holed up someplace in one of the big cities. And being that Chicago is so close to the border with Canada, and it's the big city, and it's also a sanctuary city. They're ending up there, and I would also think that many of them are ending up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as well. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Ontario area. There's this, I believe it's still there. They call it the Windsor Tunnel, and that tunnel goes underneath the lake, and you leave from Canada and go through the Windsor Tunnel and come out on the other side by Detroit, Michigan, if I remember that correctly. I went through that once way back when I was a young airman in the Air Force. We had a 3-day break and we went to Canada once, back when you didn't have to have a passport. Okay, so we definitely do have a lot of infiltration still happening from the northern border. From what I understand, though, we are patrolling that whole northern border, even though what we have for a fence there is basically a 3-strand barbed wire fence in some places. Other places there's nothing. But it is being patrolled by drones. I haven't heard anything come out in the news about any of these people being picked up for a while, but I think if they are, it's being kept pretty quiet. I just kind of have a feeling that a lot of them have been nabbed, and I think that's how they're getting some of their other intel about where it's all coming from, and where in Mexico and who in Mexico. And that's the other thing. From what I hear, we have boots on the ground in Mexico, people. We have some of our special operations people in Mexico doing their thing, and we have had drones, F-35s, and all that kind of stuff happening in Mexico now for quite a while. So that's where that is. I'm just gonna look. I think I pretty much covered everything. Well, there was this here. Yeah, this is from a couple days ago about Carolyn Levitt dropped a nuclear truth bomb from the White House podium. Remember, we're talking about the infiltration. She said this wasn't a routine press briefing. She had some important information. She said this is going to be a historic indictment of the Obama machine. So Carolyn just confirmed on camera that Barack Obama and his top intelligence chiefs conspired to sabotage Trump's 2016 victory before he even took office. Read that again. According to the newly declassified evidence, Obama knew Trump had zero ties to Russia. Brennan Clapper, Comey McCabe, and others manufactured the politicized intel. Fake Russia collusion narratives were fed to the media. And all this Russia collusion stuff, guess where it was all put together? And this is why Trump has such a big, I'm going to say the word, a big hard-on for Ukraine and Zelensky. Because all of that Russia collusion stuff was all built and narrated and put together in Ukraine. Okay? That's going to come out. It already has, but I don't know how many of you heard of it. So leaks were weaponized to poison the country against the incoming president. Trump's family and allies were smeared as Russian assets. A years-long witch hunt was launched on lies. The president won Pulitzer Prizes for spreading disinformation, and the entire operation was designed to delegitimize a duly elected president. Okay, so all his, and people wonder why he didn't get more done on his first term, because he had to fight all of this stuff that was going on, including the lawfare that came along with it. Okay, so Carolyn Levitt said it plainly. Trump was innocent, of everything. Obama's intel apparatus was guilty. This is not a scandal. It's not a mistake. It is not politics. It is the biggest political subversion operation in modern American history. A sitting president, Obama, used the intelligence community to sabotage the peaceful transfer of power and undermine the will of the American people. Now, nearly a decade later, the truth is out. Trump was right. The media was wrong. The media has always been wrong. and the American people were lied to. Pulitzer Prizes must be revoked, reputations must fall, and accountability must finally begin. History will not forget who tried to save the Republic and who tried to overthrow it. Okay? So, just before I go into my regular ending, I want to end with a prayer today. This is from Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So in other words, trust in God. Okay? That I think when it all comes down to it, even though we've got the plan, this plan doesn't work unless God is involved in the plan. And from what I've been seeing, God has been involved in the plan. God wrote that plan and put it in the minds of these men that put this all together prior to Trump even becoming president. This has been an operation. This has all been in God's time. And I think we're getting closer to that day when this is going to finally be over. But we haven't hit the worst stuff yet, people. Head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. That's called situational awareness. Be safe out there. Have somebody with you that will pack if you're not packing. It doesn't matter if you're in the big city, the suburbs, or out in the boontoolies like me. You never know what's going to come across your path, okay? So be safe out there. God bless, and I will see you tomorrow morning. God bless every one of you out there on the other side of the screen. Have a great day.
For the touch I miss, the voice that calms it all. We were never meant to be apart this long, but love like ours keeps holding strong. I just wanna be next to you, feel the life we always knew, build a world where dreams come true. Just me and you, always us, always new. We talked of children, laughter in the hall, of morning coffee and late night calls, a home with a light in every room, where love would chase away the gloom. No war, no border, no fear can break the vow we made, the life we'll make. I'll fight through fire, I'll cross the sea, if that's what brings you here to me. I just wanna be next to you, feel the life we always knew, build a world where dreams come true. Just me and you, always us, always new. Forever us, just me and